Government is not reason. Government is not eloquence. Government is force. And like fire, it's a dangerous servant and a fearful master. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. My name is Daniel Hapney, and this is The Real Story. Tonight, my question for you, the viewer. Do you need more truth? Is that what you need in life? Not so much do you want more truth. I want to know if you have a need, like a drug addict. Get that vein up there. I need an injection of truth. Do you need more truth? Got a really good show for you tonight because some very interesting things have been happening. It's been years after the 9/11 false flag event, and what have we learned? We've learned that now there are more than 1,000 engineers and architects who want a new investigation, who say that the story we were told and the story we were sold is full of falsehoods and lies and stuff. So anyway, we're going to go into that in a little bit, but I like to whip them out on you on occasion. In this one, here we have some Thomas Jefferson quotes, and I want you to consider what one of our founding fathers, Thomas Jefferson, very astute man, what he said and some of his thoughts, okay? And this one I really liked, okay? For you religious people out there, I hope that you enjoy, going to synagogue, temple, to any place that you go, church. But this one I liked. He said, resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. Think about that one. This is Thomas Jefferson. Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. Pretty good quote, huh? Let me throw another one at you. The spirit of resistance to government is so valuable on certain occasions that I wish it to be always kept alive. That's pretty good, huh? The spirit of resistance to government is so valuable on certain occasions that I wish it to be always kept alive. Another great Jefferson quote. Here we go. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences attending to too much liberty than to those attending to too small a degree of it. Does that sound like the way we're going? How about this one? If once the people became inattentive to public affairs, you and I, and Congress and assemblies, judges and governors shall all become wolves. It seems to be the law of our general nature, in spite of individual exceptions. Why all that was important? These quotes from Thomas Jefferson, he understood what tyranny was. He understood how tyranny affects not only a person, their family, but their future generations. So maybe you should consider those quotes. Consider them, looking up. Maybe as homework, we'll have you look up Thomas Jefferson quotes. All right, here's some explosive news. Not only, once again, more than 1,000 registered engineers and architects. So you people out there who have your P&E, that's right, your ME, okay? Yeah, you engineers, you know who I'm talking about. More than 1,000 engineers in the United States are calling for an investigation. Why? Because when they looked at the collapses, remember, 9/11, right? When they looked at the collapses, they said that couldn't have happened the way it did. So here's a couple of, this is from the Washington Times. Check it out, this is a Washington paper. Very interesting in that, okay? A lingering technical question about September 11 terrorist attacks still haunts some. And it has political implications. How did 200,000 tons of steel disintegrate? How do you turn concrete into powder, okay? And drop in 11 seconds? Yeah, this is tough, even for an engineering man, okay? 1,000 architects and engineers want to know, and they are calling on Congress to order a new investigation into this destruction of the Twin Towers and Building 7. Remember that. We show it on other shows. Matter of fact, here, a quick one on Building 7. Yeah. This is not demolition. Remember, how did they sell you this? It's very good. At the World Trade Center. In order to bring down this kind of mass in such a short period of time, the material must have been artificially exploded outwards, says Richard Gage, a San Francisco architect and founder of the nonprofit Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. What a great group of people. Like pilots for 9/11 Truth, like lawyers for 9/11 Truth, okay? People are starting to say, hey, you know what? The story I was told isn't correct. Why they lied to me, I don't know. Okay, who are they covering and hiding up for? I don't know. But I just know we need a new 9/11 investigation because you know what? It's looking an awful lot like an inside job. Okay? Do you remember they wouldn't even do an investigation for 14 months? It was the family members who demanded a 9/11 investigation. And who was the first person they tried to put in charge? Henry Kissinger. Let me think. Obama, because you want to change. His first job out of college was with Kissinger and Associates? Could it have been? Once again, this cabal we have in power now, are they lying to you constantly? We'll get into that. So here's a little thing for you. I want you to, you see the picture. This is the Washington Times once again. They're even coming out and saying, hey, this is explosive news, especially when in the dust of the World Trade Towers, they find nanothermite. Only whose military makes nanothermite? Yeah. So 19 guys in a cave ain't making sense anymore, is it? But that's interesting. Okay, once again, who benefited? Take a good look at this. All right, so here's a video. This is the architects and engineers. Okay, this is from, I want to say, they're getting on local news. So here's a news piece for you.
Now, a different kind of engineering question. 1,000 engineers and architects from 47 different cities today called for a new independent investigation into 9/11 this morning. It happened at news conferences that were held in 47 cities across North America, including one here in Victoria. The group is Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, founded by an architect from San Francisco. The group says it has new evidence suggesting that explosives, not planes alone, brought down the 2 World Trade Center towers and a third 47-story skyscraper on that fateful day, September 2001. The group says it has explosive forensic evidence that was omitted from the official reports on the attack. Representatives of the group based in Victoria, who have signed a petition demanding a new investigation, say the fire alone could not have brought down the buildings, particularly World Trade Center Tower number 7.
There was no plane hitting that building, and there was no proper investigation or explanation given why that building also fell in the fashion it did. It basically collapsed at free fall speed. That's not possible. That can only happen if you remove all the core columns at the right moment, in a controlled demolition fashion, as we've seen on TV.
The group says, given that the buildings were in partial or full freefall during the destruction, it suggests or points directly to expertly placed explosives. It also points to reports that first responders saw flashes and heard bangs at the onset of the destruction, and that the explosive ejections of building material can be seen 20 to 40 stories below the collapsing portion of the World Trade Center towers. For more information on this group, you can find out more at their website at ae911truth.org.
That was pretty good, huh? It even gets on the news. And once again, for you to ask questions. What happens when you ask questions? Here's a gal who called into that, what's it, CNN talk show or whatever. And I want you to check it out. This is a woman. She pleads for people to please. You know, why is it that when people start talking about 9/11 truth or 9/11 or investigating who was behind, because when we find out that the people they say were behind it couldn't have been behind it, that they couldn't have flown those planes, I ask you, where's all the wreckage at the Pentagon? Show me the 757 wreckage. I shot planes for a living. I worked for the Department of Defense. I was with General Dynamics. I blew things up for a living. I shot them down for a living. And I'm here to tell you that debris field did not match the story. Take a look at Shanksville. Where's the plane? I feel like the little midget guy. So anyway, here's a lady she's calling in. Notice how she gets cut off.
Springfield, Illinois, Independent Line. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. I'm calling because yesterday I tried desperately to get in on the this early morning show when the gentleman was asking people to recommend topics that should be discussed more and that they'd like to hear more about.
Right.
Well, what I'd really like to hear more about, and I cannot understand why C-SPAN almost seems to evade the subject, and I love C-SPAN because you guys are the most even, fair. I don't want to say what that other station says, but anyways, you guys are wonderful in presenting information. But please don't ignore informing American citizens who need to know so intensely what happened, the real truth of 9/11. And every time, please let me finish. Every time someone calls to ask a question or bring up a subject about that, they get disconnected. And it lets me know that there's got to be something something going on way beneath the surface that you won't allow people to talk about it. Let me just say that the American public needs to know the real truth and why this country is in the situation it's in now, and what the Bush administration with Cheney and Wolfowitz and Condoleezza Rice, what they really did. They know the truth of 9/11.
All right. Prairieville, Louisiana, Republican line. The Washington Post editorial this morning says Washington has gone wild. Your thoughts?